Okay, and back on this here, and I could spend a bit more time on this, but I want to keep moving on. I'm just going to grab the bones, and to get them back, there's two ways to get them back to the original position. The one thing I was showing earlier where I go in there and I right click and I say assume preferred angle, or you can actually go here under skin and there's a thing called go to bind pose, and when you do that it goes back to the bind pose. The only thing is, when you do the stuff that I'm going to show you next, to get to the bind pose is a pain in the ass. Well, not a pain in the ass, it just can be tricky. And let's just see what happens if I grab these and I get the rotate tools on. Boop. I just noticed something when I froze the transformations on this, so they're going to work funny. Whatever. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to do a little bit of rigging. And the rigging I'm going to do, I'm going to take the geometry here and let's just go and put that into a layer, and I'm just going to hide it. Okay, I want to control the legs. I want to control the legs so they'll stick on the ground. And I'll put the hypergraph up so you can see this, what I'm about to do, and what the hell's all that crap right there. Okay. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to create these things called IK handles. And if I go in here to skeleton IK handle tool, I'm just going to make sure that I put sticky on. Okay, and I want it on an RP solver. I'm going to put sticky on, have it on an RP solver. And what I do is I click on this joint and I click on this joint, and it puts in an IK handle. Whoop! And I have control over the leg. Okay, this is popping an IK handle. When I pull it too far and the leg just goes straight, that's something you want to kind of avoid. And you'll see that when I have the geometry in here, see it deforms just a little bit better. Actually, I could be weighting this area up here, maybe at the end. Okay, boop, boop. So I've got one IK handle in here. And to control the foot though, you'll notice that when I pull this up, I got no control over like rotating the foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in more IK handles, and I'm going to kind of group them, and I'm going to play with them a little bit so that I can control the foot. Oh, god damn it. You got to take this thing and this and this. Okay, great. So now I just put in 3 IK handles. So there's one that's going from the hip down to the ankle, ankle to the balls of the foot, and then ball of the foot to the toe. And if I take a look here in my happy hypergraph, you can see all 3 of them right there. And I'm just going to take these, I'm going to quickly name them. This one here is going to be the ankle IK. Boop. And this one here, I'm going to call that the ball IK. And then this one here, I'm just going to call that toe IK. Boop. You can also tell it's an IK because it's got little symbols on it here, but sometimes I like having the words there. And what I want to be able to do is manipulate these things a little bit so that I can make the foot do things and be stuck on the ground, right? And if I grab the whole body right now, because I had sticky on, when I move this, the feet will stick to the ground. If I move the body around, the foot won't stick to the ground otherwise. Okay? And I want to be able to make the feet do certain things. First one I want to do is a little bit of the toe wiggle. And I'm just going to take this ball, or the toe IK, and parent it to the ball IK. And now you'll see that if I grab the ball IK and I rotate it, I got toe wiggle. And you want to see it with a funny little mesh on. Okay? And that can be kind of handy to have. Let's turn that off. Now what I want to do is I want to be able to make my foot go up and stand on the balls of my feet. And I've got this IK handle here, and if you pull it, you'll see these things stick down here, and that doesn't really give you what you want. What I want to do is I'm going to play a trick on it. I'm just going to take this ankle IK, select it, and I'm going to go in here, edit, and I'm going to group it. I take the group, hold down D and V, middle click, snap it over here. And so now, if I have a group on this thing, which is just an empty little point in space reference point, I can do this. I can rotate and I can get the character to go up on the balls of the feet. Boop. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Aye! There, we're flipping the axis thing. We'll talk about that afterwards. So I'm just going to put that back down there on the ground. And I'm just going to call this group, what are we at, 445? I will call the group heel lift. Great. And And then what I want to do is maybe I want to be able to pick it up on the on its tippy toe here. And so I'm just going to go in and Control G. I'm going to group it again. Take the group and D and V, middle click, snap it to the toe. I'm just going to parent this thing in here. And I'm just going to call that like toe group. Toe group. Hey, cut that out. And then I'm just going to take this group, and I'd like it if I can lift my character's foot up by the heel. So I'm just going to go in and take this group. I'm going to put another group, Control G, and group it. And I'm going to take that group, and I'm going to hold down D and V, and I'm going to snap the pivot point there to the heel. And what that does, now that I've got this group point in here, this parent, whoop, I can now lift it up through here. And that's all I need to do. And I'm just going to call this thing here, I'm going to call it heel group. Done. So there we go. And I've quickly just started up a really simple rig. And one other thing I want to do is just turn this off. I'm just going to go in here and I'll use a controller. I'm going to use some kind of object as a controller. I like NURBS circles. Just going to scale this up. I just want to see. There we go. Something's easy to see, and I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to grab that CV here and I'll pull it over this way. Great. And this little object here, I'd really like it if its pivot point was D and V, middle click, snap there. Okay, I'm just going to freeze the transformations, kill the history, and I'm going to call this thing foot control. Actually 7 minutes. Can I actually do this all in 7 minutes? Okay, I'm just going to take the heel group, parent it to the foot control. And what I want to do is I want to make it so that I can control this foot, and I want to make it so I have a foot roll. So I'm going to go in, take the foot control here, and I'm going to go here to modify. I'm going to add an attribute, and in the attribute here I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it foot roll. Okay, minimum value -10, default value 0, and oh crap. Maximum value is 10 and default value is 0. And I'm going to click on OK. I always use the values of 10 just because it's a lot faster, and now I've got a little value over here, and I go from 10 to -10. I'm middle clicking, dragging it back and forth. And what do we got? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this up so it's a set-driven key. We're in the animation section. I'm just going to go to Animate, set-driven key, set. And I'm going to go in here, and the foot control ended up being down here in the driven. I want that to actually be the driver, so I'm going to load it as the driver. And the thing I want to be the driven is ankle heel lift right here. Heel lift, load driven. And it's going to be rotating on its x-axis. I can see a little x here. If I go and I hold this, I can see the red axis there. Great. So rotate x, or actually foot roll, is going to be controlling rotate x. I'm going to hit key. What do we got? 832. Can I actually do this in that amount of time? Okay, great. I'm going to take the foot control. Come on. Faster. I'm going to put that at a value of 10. I'm going to take this heel lift, and I'm going to go and pop it up like this. I'm going to hit key. Okay, so now that's set up. Take this, I'm going to put it back down at 0. The other thing I want to control is this thing down here called the heel group. And I'm going to take the heel group, and I'm going to load that as the driven now. Rotate X. I'm going to hook that up to foot roll. Key. And then I'm going to take this thing here, foot roll, put it up to a value of -10, put it down to a value of -10, take the heel group, and I'm going to pop it up something like this. And I could go even higher if I wanted to. I'm just going to hit key. And now I have just set up a set-driven key, and I've got this thing called a foot roll, all within 10 minutes. And if I just take a look, what is it going to do? If I go in and I grab my foot controller, you'll see that if I take this thing and let's just put on the whole foot so you can see it in action. Whoop, whoop, right in here. You can see some of my weighting. I may need to be a little bit better. And there you go. I take it and I zero it out, standing on the ground. And so there's first bit of rigging. I'm just going to stop this.